Chiefs fans finally get some answers in regards to their star running back. Kansas City giving out game day designations as the back-to-back champs hit the road tomorrow for Carolina. How will Andy Reid choose to utilize his offense against the Panthers? Well, we're going to discuss all things Chiefs and Week 12 now. What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Happy Friday. I'm Hayley Lewis, and this is Chiefs News Daily. The Panthers defense ranks 31st in rushing touchdowns allowed to running backs this season. Kansas City could cash in on that weakness. Hunt has carried 19 times inside the 10-yard line, which is the fourth most amongst running backs. Let's talk about it and hear from head coach Andy Reid now. But first, give us a like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel, and let's get into it. It is Friday. You know the drill. It is Fast Friday. So head coach Andy Reid briefly speaks with the media ahead of the Chiefs Sunday matchup against the 3-7 Carolina Panthers. So without further ado, I bring you Big Red.
The injuries, everybody practiced today. We'll end up listing Omenihu and Pacheco is out. They won't dress this week. Look forward to the challenge of playing Carolina. Again, they're playing real good football, and on both sides of the ball and special teams. Dave's done a nice job with that group, and our guys have had a good week of practice, and look forward to that challenge again to play a good football team. So, for that time's yours.
Hey, Pacheco and Charles still on the schedule, though, maybe for next week?
We'll see, but they're doing great. They're doing great. But working hard, and we'll just take it day by day as we go on this thing.
You guys probably don't need the message to not overlook anybody, but after you play a game like you had in Buffalo and you're playing a team that maybe you're not as familiar with and all that stuff, do you have to give them any message about making sure they're on par, on task?
Yeah, I think the best thing is that they see the tape, because that's what's real. And so our guys know that they're playing good football. So you don't have to say a whole lot. I mean, you put the tape on and you see how they're flying around both sides of the ball, special teams, playing good football.
All right, game day designations also come out today, so you can see here the official report from both the Chiefs and the Panthers with game day designations on the far right. The Chiefs have 6 players listed, Carolina tallying 15. Now, inactives are different. Those come out 90 minutes prior to kickoff, so we'll have to wait until about 10:30 a.m. Central Time on Sunday for those names. Usually, unless something crazy happens on Saturday, anyone listed as questionable or doubtful today will either be announced as inactive or active around Sunday morning. All right, this week I got to talk to Aaron Schatz, the creator of DVOA, which is pretty much a catch-all statistic that measures how far above or below average an NFL team performs in 3 stages of the game. Now, it takes every single play during the NFL season and compares each one to a league average baseline based on situation. Aaron's been doing NFL analytics for over 20 years, and he joins me now to talk about the Chiefs' likelihood of locking up the 1 seed, who is the biggest contender in the AFC and the NFC, and who he thinks are just pretenders. We also got to talk about Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, the effect that they have, and how it's kind of unmeasurable. A lot to break down, so let's roll the tape. Now, we're a little bit over the midpoint of the season here. 7 games left for Kansas City to play through the regular season. What are you seeing right now? What's the data showing you? What's the analysis showing you of the AFC as far as contenders go? Maybe, we all know the Bills and the Chiefs. Who else is really in the running here?
The nice thing about the Chiefs losing, and I realize for Chiefs fans, there is no nice thing, but the nice thing is that we no longer have to do these compared to undefeated teams of the past, the Chiefs, we don't have to do that anymore. Like now, we can just accept that they're 9-1 and we can just compare them to other teams.
Yeah.
And if you compare them to other teams, so we have Baltimore actually as the number 1 team in the AFC by our numbers.
Okay.
Even though they do have a lot of penalties and a tendency to lose close games. And then we have Buffalo and then Kansas City. But Buffalo and Kansas City are very close together. And that's really the big 3. We have Pittsburgh a lot lower, even though they've won some close games and they're likely to win their division over Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the underlying statistics that we use in our DVOA ratings, the big 3 of the AFC is really Kansas City, Buffalo, and Baltimore. Now, what's interesting is where will Baltimore be seated? Because if Baltimore was going to win its division, I would say Kansas City is probably in a really good place where Buffalo and Baltimore have to go through each other to get to Kansas City. But that may not be the case. Baltimore may be the 5, and then if they beat the 4, they might play Kansas City in the next round while Buffalo gets Pittsburgh or something. I don't know. Right now, we have Kansas City wins the number 1 seed in 55% of our simulations.
Okay.
Buffalo in 35% and Pittsburgh in 10.
Okay, so tell me how, when you were going through the seeding where you were saying in the AFC you have Ravens, Buffalo Chiefs, what data are you looking at to come to that conclusion? What are the numbers that you were referring to?
We look at every single play in the season. We give it a success rating based on the down and distance, and then we compare that to a league average baseline that is adjusted for situation and opponent. Now, what it doesn't include is a sort of Mahomes and Reid factor. We all think, like everybody out there thinks, that the Chiefs are gonna take it up a notch in the playoffs. And if the Chiefs take it up a notch in the playoffs, they won't be the 3rd best team in the AFC. They might be the best team in the AFC, but it'll be close. Buffalo is very good this year, and Baltimore, despite the fact that they've had a couple of these close losses, are very good. Their offense, Baltimore's offense, is historically great, like along the lines of the Chiefs' offense from 2018. Historically great. Their pass defense leaves something to be desired.
So that is the weakness potentially that Kansas City might exploit if they do meet them again in the playoffs. Now, you said 55% for Kansas City. I want to make sure I got that right. 55% of Kansas City locking up the 1 seed even after the loss.
Yeah, about 35% for Buffalo, and then actually more like 8% for Pittsburgh, and like 2% for Houston. But it's probably not Houston.
Well, 2 of those teams Kansas City is going to have to face down the stretch of the regular season. I want to talk to you a little bit about the NFC and, the other conference here. Kansas City, if they make it to the Super Bowl, will have to face one of these teams. And right now it looks like Lions are rolling, Eagles close behind. Early in the season, I thought it was the Commanders who might be up there. But tell me what you're seeing from the other conference here.
The Eagles are not close behind.
Really?
The Lions are, by our numbers, looking at their play-by-play efficiency, a historically great team.
Okay.
After that win over Jacksonville, they are now the number 3 team through 10 games by DVOA in the last 45 years. That's how good the Lions have been. Now, we are all waiting for the week where it becomes apparent that not having Aiden Hutchinson is a problem.
Yeah.
But that week hasn't come yet. We all know it's going to come at some point, and they're going to have to overcome that. But so far, they've just been phenomenal on both sides of the ball. I don't want to take anything away from Philadelphia, which has been very good, but the Lions are just on another plane of existence right now.
So in the NFC, would it be safe to say it's the Lions quite literally by a big margin separated from the rest of the conference? And then in the AFC, it's very close or much closer than what you're seeing in NFC?
Much closer in the AFC with that, what I consider the big 3 of Kansas City, Buffalo, and Baltimore, whereas Detroit is way out ahead. That's not a guarantee, right? There have been historic teams. The Chiefs in 2018 lost the AFC Championship game. The Patriots in 2007. The Dolphins in 84, lost the Super Bowl. It's not a guarantee that the Lions will win everything, but they are way out ahead of the rest of the NFC right now.
Now, I want to close it out with one of the points that you made that maybe data or stats really can't encompass the Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes effect. In your personal opinion, I think we talked about this before when I've had you on my show. The 3-peats is obviously something that a lot of fans are fixated on. The teams are saying, hey, week in and week out, that's how we have to approach it. How much does that Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid effect factor into the Chiefs having the luck of potentially getting to that 3-peat?
It's tough to know because, so here's the thing, right? Let's talk about the 2005 Patriots. They were coming off 2 titles. They were not as good in the regular season not as good as the Chiefs are this year, frankly.
Okay.
But when we got to the playoffs in 2005, everyone said it doesn't matter. They've won 3 of the last 4 titles. Brady and Belichick are going to get it done. And then they went to Denver and they lost. And another example is the 1990 49ers. who had Joe Montana and had won 2 titles. And then they went to New York and Montana got hurt and they lost 15-13 in the playoffs, right? Like, it's not a guarantee that the Chiefs will win 3 in a row. It's not a guarantee that that special Mahomes thing will overcome everything once we get to the playoffs. But we all feel like they're holding something back a little bit in a way that I don't think people thought about the Patriots. I don't think people thought about the Patriots when they won those 3 titles in 4 years early on, that they were ever holding anything back in the regular season. I don't think people thought that about the 49ers either. We all kind of feel that last year the Chiefs were kind of holding something back and that this year the Chiefs are kind of holding something back. So I think that's where the sort of subjective belief that they'll be better in the playoffs comes from.
All right, well, we will have to see if Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have a little something left up their sleeve as they get ready for the playoffs. Aaron, as always, we appreciate you taking the time. And again, thank you so much for sharing your information. Where can people get more of this data and analysis from you?
All the DVOA stuff, all of our articles, all of our numbers, all of our charting, it's all at ftnfantasy.com/DVOA, or you can find me on social media, AShotsNFL, or just A Shots on Blue Sky.
Alrighty, folks, that does it for another episode of Chiefs News Daily. We will not be back tomorrow because it's the weekend. So enjoy the rest of your Friday, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the game. We'll see you back here on Monday. In the meantime, as always, like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel, and have a great weekend.